some of the challenges as a teacher. I think a lot of time when people think about the current challenges of teaching, they think about student behavior. They think about the demands of the current teaching profession with grades, time that it takes, and parent demands. But my greatest challenge of a teacher had nothing to do with that. It didn't have to do with teaching the math or any of the demands. It was something that was much, much deeper, but also much, much rewarding every single time I could overcome it. I remember when I was a college student and I was in my educational classes, I remember a professor telling me that you do not teach math, you teach students. And it was something very, very important because what the professor wanted me to look forward is past just like teaching math. Because a lot of times we think about like when we want to become a teacher or like, why do you want to be a teacher? A lot of people are like, I love math or I love this subject. Like I want to teach this. Like I really love this content. And I think to become a teacher, you do have to have some sort of a passion for the content. Otherwise, every student's going to know that you just don't care what you're teaching and they know you're not going to care to show up for your job. And that's going to kind of bleed into how they perform inside the classroom as well. On the flip side of that, I think just being like really strong in your field, like just being an engineer, doesn't mean you're going to be a great math teacher. That's why it's important to understand you are teaching students, not just your subject material. And here's what I mean by that. When you become a teacher, no matter what you're teaching, but I'm going to focus here on math because that's what I taught. You're going to have students that walk into your class every single day from different walks of life. Every single night that they went home, they all were experiencing different home life. Some good, some bad. Sometimes you have kids that walk into your classroom every single day smiling. You think all is good. And the next day, blank has hit the fan. Sometimes you're the only person that is consistent in their life. And that's really difficult as a teacher. Sometimes you're the bearer of bad news. Sometimes they've been told how smart they are their whole life. And then you have to break the bad news of with a really poor grade. Or sometimes they've been told their whole life how stupid they are. And then you have the task of trying to help them overcome that. And those two things are exactly what I feel is the greatest challenge I had of a teacher is making students believe in themselves, believe in their abilities, believe that they are capable of not only of learning math, but overcoming their failures and being successful. A lot of students, once they fail, they just want to give up and they want to drop the class, get out of it, and never see you absolutely again. Some students walk into your class wanting to fail because they want to prove to you that they are not good at math and they should not be in the class. It's tough. A lot of times people think, oh, you're just a math teacher. You're just teaching math. Like that's it. No, teaching math can be rewarding. I like those little aha moments of understanding something you're teaching and then a student gets it. But the biggest impact that I ever got when I was able to help students believe in themselves. Here's something that happened almost all the time. We'd go ahead and start teaching beginning of the year. Everybody's enthusiastic. They're all motivated to get going with the new year. They're like, you're the new teacher, getting used to like your rituals and your routines. And you're so excited for the new year. Like I love August and September of getting back into school. So then you start teaching and getting used to seeing their old friends and getting into the mix. And then the first couple grades start trickling in. And sometimes you have those students that have never had a D before, have never had an F before, sometimes have never had a C or even a B. And immediately you kind of know who those students are. Once you know that that happens, you know, here comes the parent conference. And sure enough, every single year, it was just like clockwork. I knew those students where I was like, once I started giving out D's and F's, I knew the parent conferences were coming. There's obviously the students at this point, roughly in the first quarter, that I could determine if like this course was a good fit for them or not. If it wasn't a good fit for them for whatever reason, I spoke with the guidance counselor and the parents and we found a better class for them. But a lot of times the class was a good fit. I just had the task of making students believe that they could be successful in my class. And sometimes that's a really tough sell. Sometimes I actually felt like I was a salesman inside of a parent conference meeting with the counselor because the student wanted to get out. The counselor was like, this grade can really hurt impact, especially going to college and, you know, whatever you need. And sometimes the parent's like, I want to push my child, but I also don't want them to feel bad or unsuccessful. And I had to be there and be like, I believe in you. I know you can do it. Do not let this F or you failing this first quarter get you down. I believe that you can be successful in my class. Intuitive sense, after a quarter, I knew what students were capable of. And a lot of times I could tell if students were not putting in 100% of their effort. And that's what I always ask students on that parent conference. I said, at this moment, if you want to get on my class, you got this grade that you do not want, look me in the eye and tell me that you have done absolutely your best in my class, everything you can. And a lot of students, you could tell they wanted to say yes, right? Because they knew if they could say yes, they could probably get out of the class. But a lot of them had to say, no, I could probably do a little more. And it's true. They probably could do a little more. A lot of times they had a false belief of just thinking that what their previous grades were of how much they actually knew. They put so much weight and emphasis on grades. Once they got something bad, they just wanted to give up. And I'm telling you, there is no better feeling. And I've had multiple examples of students that failed my class, that got a D, that asked to get out of my class. And I was able to convince them to stay in. I was able to work with them throughout the year. They finished the year with an A. There's nothing more exciting as a teacher to be able to see students not believe in themselves. And then you have an impact on them and you work with them. They overcome their doubts in their minds and they work hard and you see them put in the work and you see them get an A. You see them shift. You see them grow throughout the year. And it's almost like you've catapulted them into a feeling of they are unstoppable. And there's no better smile of at the end of the year or when graduation comes and you see that student, you know, and they know what they have been through and what they overcome. They believe in themselves. They believe in their ability, and they're not going to let a single grade go ahead and get them down. It's powerful. It's what I absolutely miss about teaching. Now, what I don't miss about teaching is the students that hate math. They don't hate math because they're not good at it. They hate math because they believe that they are not good at math. They have been told for however young they are when they first had their troubles with mathematics that they are not good at math. And guess what? They're not going to be good math people. And a lot of times their parents, their friends reinforce this to them. And then they come into your class and you try to get them, like at the beginning of the year, you're like, all right, I can help you. I am going to get you to pass this class. And it's almost like they try to fail to prove to you wrong that no, I am just not good at math. Let me show you that I am not good at math. Those students are tough because making them believe that there is no such thing as math people, that they can be successful in math is not something that you can just switch overnight. It's something that you have to consistently work with. It's something that takes a lot of time, and sometimes it takes a lot of effort. As a teacher, obviously it's my greatest challenge, but it's the one I look into. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to make you good at math. And you're going to watch. Sometimes it's just prescribing them some different math problems. Sometimes it's prescribing them a little bit extra work for them to be able to overcome some of the holes of knowledge that they had, but it takes a lot of work. And the students that put in that work, I'm telling you, it happens time and time again. Every single year, I have students that struggle. They fail. They don't remember anything that they've learned in the previous years, but they put in the work. Then by the end of the year, some of those students, even if they got an F or a D at the beginning of the year, they now have A's, they have B's. Some of them are my strongest students because what they have done is they have learned how to be successful in math. And that's why I want to inspire you with this video. Because as a teacher, I get these students every single year. This is what drove me to keep on teaching. And this is what I miss about the teaching profession the most, is helping students believe that they can be successful in math, not letting a grade or a failure or past struggles define who they are or what they're capable of. So as you start working into the school year and you start to have struggles, you start to have doubts, keep working hard. If you don't think anybody believes in you, I do. You got this. Cheers.